An arm and a leg. It cost me an arm and a leg. I don't know. Think about that. Would you make that choice? Would you make that choice if you knew that there was this thing that you just couldn't give up? This thing of your sight, or the thing that is led to you by your arm. I mean, is it worth giving up? And I thought through the weeks, as this sermon kind of went different places, the dog. I always have really great experiences with animals, and I've shared this with you. I seem to have, for some reason, every animal we ever get gets sick. I don't know. I mean, just right off the bat. The dog, of course, we bought the dog, and it was $300. And that was a birthday present for all three kids. You know, their birthdays were real close together. And that, of course, upset my wife, because there's all these dogs that are free everywhere in the world. You know, dogs running around, so why would you actually give money for them? But okay, so we give money for a dog, and then it gets sick, and we had to take to a vet. I had to take to a emergency room vet first, and we had, you know, spent the night in the emergency room, then got transferred to another vet, and then he had to stay there for a week, and you know, he came out. He came out, and it lasted about another week or 4 or 5 days, and then he starts going crazy, like he's losing his mind, and he's got something in his ears, and you know, you think it's mites, and you think you asked around, and it happens to be. So we finally take him back to the vet, and it's neither one of those, it's something else. And now we're treating the dog for 7 more days. We're in that process now. And somewhere along the line, my wife gave me a total. And this is what amazes me. Oh, I know what it was. We are on to the turtles now. Who cares about the dog anymore? Emily and Rebecca decided they wanted a little baby turtle. So Dad went on a hunt yesterday for a turtle. And was looking for the turtle. You know, my wife is saying, why we're still paying on the dog. Why aren't we going to get a turtle? And my wife is terrible about being able to estimate or to give you a figure. That's just one of her things she can't do. She can't remember numbers. Some people can remember numbers. My dad remembers phone numbers for when he was in high school. And I remember measurements really, really good. But the one thing my wife can't remember is numbers. But right out of the blue in the van, she spouted out a number of what we had spent on that dog. An exact number, just about real close. And it's over $1,000 we got in this dog now. And that amazed me that my wife I can ask her, how much money do we have in the bank? She says, I don't know, I have to call. Or I have to sit down and figure. I mean, she can't, and I always just kind of keep a running tab. But she just don't know numbers, but she knew this number. It amazed me. And so, you know, of course, that goes into my thinking pattern. Why does my wife remember these numbers about the dog so much? You know, it was just a remarkable thing. Our kids get sick. I don't care. You understand? I mean, I don't care. You want to check? If it was serious, whatever you want, I'll write you, give you everything I got. And through the years, with 3 children and another one on the way, we don't keep up with it at all. It doesn't matter. We want our kids healthy. We want them to live a life a life that they feel good and they want to play and just we want them to have a good life. We never kept up with any amount of money that it costs to raise kids or treat kids or anything. Why is that? Why?
You can't put a value on children.
That's exactly right. You cannot, they're priceless to me. And when you have something that's priceless to you, you don't keep up with it. I mean, it's priceless. It doesn't matter. I can take Rebecca to the doctor and then turn around and next week and take her to a completely different doctor, and it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not going to do anything ridiculous, but at the same time, whatever it takes that my family's healthy or my family has what they need, they're priceless. My girls are priceless. The dogs, as I'm learning from my wife, is not priceless. I guess somewhere in the future, there's going to be a limit on the dog. Amen? Mike would argue the other way, though.
Absolutely.
Would you? I mean, it's the point I'm really going to make. I'm really going to, not because of you. I'm just saying, I do know people. My granny had a dog that was had surgery, bypass, open heart surgery. You think I'm kidding? I promise, it's a poodle, and it had open heart surgery in the $45,000 range. I'm not making it up.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, I'm with you, but do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Some people now, me and my wife are both going to agree that somewhere along the line the dog's going to go to the hospital. I mean, to the point we can't. My kids come first.
You got my house phone.
But, you can take it, and some people would think the same about dogs. So when you make that point, you think, well, here's the difference. What's priceless to you may not be priceless to somebody else. David, a couple of weeks ago, I don't even know what I was preaching or what I was doing, but David had a thought, and he wrote it down, and he gave it to me after church, and it said this. It said, a trip to the Holy Land, $1,250. It said a Bible bought on the way, $50. He said to discover the Word of God, priceless. You understand that? Mm-hmm. And that's just what this is saying. I mean, what costs an arm and a leg to you shouldn't be the gospel. There's a value in the gospel. There is a priceless spirit there. There is so much joy. There is no way for us to ever put a price or value on joy or salvation. When we look at it and we just shouldn't be keeping up to what it costs to serve God.
Amen.
And that's where I got to be going tonight. I mean, this sermon is went in all different directions, and no matter how many times I sit down to look at it, it always ended up right back at the same way. I could have preached this several different ways on how to get to the end, but when we get to the end, it's still the same thing. How can we keep up with serving God? And so many people will get to a point and say, well, this is as far as I can go, money-wise. I mean, I can't just keep putting in to this pot. I can't have to make sacrifices in my life or change the way that I'm used to living because the church is having a hard time or because God is wanting me to do extra things this month or this year. That's a guy that would say the gospel is costing him an arm and a leg. When Jesus is claiming that we should be willing to really really and truly give up one. I mean, it's that important to stay close to God. That's what He's telling us. He is telling us right here that literally, that if it costs you an arm and a leg to be close to God, to be able to really follow Him, you ain't lost nothing. He's saying that if you lose an and find yourself in the presence of Jesus, you ain't lost.
Amen.